Hello, this is Juan Figueroa, Director of Growth for Paramount Home Group, and you're watching Agent Spotlight, special edition, because this edition is not live. I wanted to sit down formally with Nick. Nick Kippenberg is our first Agent Spotlight 2 months in a row. Today, we're recognizing Nick for his production in August and September. Nick, how are you?
Doing great.
Great. I'm so happy to be sitting with you. I would love to say that I am surprised that you are Agent Spotlight for 2 months in a row, but that's not true. I mean, Nick has been absolutely crushing it this year. What are you on pace for this year?
Close to 20 million.
20 million.
Yes.
How does have you really considered that yet?
Not until it's over.
Not until it's over. That's what I love about you. You're very much about what can I do today? You have your goals in mind, and I know you put a lot of pressure on yourself to, reach new heights. But you're also really good at walking the mile, right? But before we get into that, talk to me a little bit about I know you had been trying to crack real estate for at least a year or two before you ended up aligning with Paramount Home Group, and just the stars weren't aligning. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? What was the what were the issues you were coming across, and what finally changed?
I think it was a lack of having support, training, not the direction of where I could go. And that was at a different brokerage. We won't say which one. And then when I switched over here, I saw everything that there was and to offer. And my biggest thing was just, take it and run with it.
Yeah.
And I was working a job to keep the bills afloat. But, once I felt all right, I got a good foundation, I was all right, time to burn the bridges. Don't look back up against the wall.
Yeah.
And just go straight forward and crush.
That is so real. I'm to really put it in perspective for other agents, if before, when you were still keeping up with your other job, because you were serving, right? You were serving. And if we looked at your life at that moment, written on paper, would you say it was definitely an early leap into real estate? You just trusted your gut, or were you in a perfect position to just say, okay, I'm going to do this full time?
Definitely not in a perfect position.
Yeah.
Definitely had a bunch of debt.
Yeah.
And I was okay, well, you got to let one go. And the biggest thing that I've resonated with is, if you're going to do something, you got to go all in, because the last thing that I'm going to ever let happen is me not giving it my all and knowing that and then failing because of that. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to fail, I'd rather know that I put everything on the table every single day and I worked nonstop, knowing that, all right, if I failed, that's okay. Yeah. Because I did everything I could have done and there's no regrets. Yeah. And then maybe moved on to the next thing. But I was I'm locking in. This is all there is. There's nothing else. Tunnel vision, blinders on, and took off. There's obviously some setbacks and stuff like that, but that's with anything in life. And now I'm just pushing forward, going to finish the year completely strong. My Q3 was a little over 7 million.
Yeah, it was.
So I figure I could beat that.
Yeah.
So for Q4.
So that right there, I know it's often said, but you truly bet on yourself.
Yeah.
You bet on yourself. And oftentimes there's so much that you have to have in order to do that. One could say self-esteem, right? You've got to trust yourself. You got to know that you'll show up, right, for yourself, right? Because real estate can be very lonely. You are starting a business, right? And so oftentimes people find themselves in that position where they, don't necessarily want to let go of, what's giving them money, even though they may be already living paycheck to paycheck. Even more than, they can't fathom the idea of them letting that go and going into real estate full time. But sometimes you just do it anyway. Sometimes you just do it anyway. And you have to be okay with the trade of maybe life is going to look a little bit differently for a little bit, right? You're not going to be able to enjoy all the pleasantries or have as many indulgences, but you knew what the other side could look like.
Yeah.
And that's what you kept your focus.
Yeah. It was give up to, a couple years for now.
Yeah.
And be able to enjoy life later on.
That's awesome. I respect that. I think anybody would respect that. Now, so you leave your job, you align yourself with a new team, team being Paramount Home Group. And you have goals in mind, but more so you're setting your intention on what you do on a daily basis. How do you make the most of every day?
I just know that if anyone says there's not enough time in the day, they really need to look in the mirror, because there's plenty of minutes in the day, and you start breaking everything down into a macro, like a micro level, macro level, and you start looking at that, and you're like, all right, where can I utilize my time? And how can I be more efficient every day? And then that's where it just starts picking up. Right? Because the more times you get at bat, the more times you're going to get more deals. You're going to be putting yourself in front of more clients. And then, obviously you're going to build those relationships, and, just treating everything like, this is a business and you need to grow the business, and how quick can you grow it? So in the shortest amount of time possible, but pushing forward.
Can you give us an example of what is like a standard Nick Kippenberg day?
Not an early grinder, sir.
Okay.
I'll be honest about that.
A late one though.
Yeah, I am a late. I will work.
Night owl.
It doesn't matter if it's 12 a.m. at night. We need to get a deal done. I will be there.
Getting the hours in.
So but I'll wake up, basically look at my phone, see what I need to attack for the day, look at my calendar, get ready, eat breakfast, and then either I'm going straight to appointments or I'm going straight to the office, and then scheduling everything out that I need to schedule. And then we'll work literally probably from start the day at 9, work all the way till 7, 8 p.m. at night, do a 12-hour day, 13-hour days sometimes it might be 14. But making sure that I knock out all those tasks for the day, so I don't carry it on to the next day.
Gotcha.
Right? So, because then you bog yourself down, and then you start thinking, and then it just piles.
Overwhelms. So how much can you accomplish in this day? For some reason there's a dip in your business, right? And your bar is very different. Like a bad month for Nick is a great month for many realtors, right? Like let's be real, you're at that point now, right? But like, how do you take time to analyze what's working and what's not? Like, how do you, like, I've had that conversation with you before where like you're crushing it, relatively so, but you're like, no, I know I could be doing more. Like, how do you start comping out what you should be occupying your time, or like, how do you analyze?
Basically, analyzing, I'm like, okay, what did I do good, very well for that day? Whether it's that I was on that appointment, whether I was talking to that person, or whether something came up unknown, how can I improve, and what can I learn? And that's my 3 things at the end of the day that I reflect on. And I'll write it down throughout the day. And if I don't know, then I'll go figure it out. I'll make sure that's instilled in my brain so that I don't make the same thing the next day, the same mistake.
Gotcha.
So.
Now, why do you think being around the right people is so important for you?
I think a lot of it is you are who you surround yourself with. And if you surround yourself with the right people, the right team, the right leadership, the right role models, right mentors, which we have a lot of those people here, it helps you lock in and focus, instead of you going out to go hang out at the bar and get wasted with your friends. You're focusing on work. How can you build your business? How can you build businesses outside of this business? How can you park your money in certain things that are going to grow, so that way, when it does come time to retire, you don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to do 14 hours a day when you're 70 years old and 60 years old and square about a paycheck. And I think that's the biggest thing here, is that everyone has their own version of success, but you'll find someone that may share somewhat of a similar version. And being with those people, you guys basically hone in together and just figure out how can we be better people, better agents, build our business, all that together. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's just that unified success that everyone's chasing.
Iron sharpens iron. And proximity is power. And is there another phrase?
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Sure. So, you mentioned to me when we were writing your blog, by the way, for all of our agent spotlights, you can read a written blog post about them on our website at ParamountHomeGroup.com. You mentioned that you're not really looking for balance right now when it comes to like work and life. And I feel like in order for people to have the success that you have, remember, everyone has an individual version of success. But oftentimes I'll speak with realtors who are really trying to lock in and tap in and break 6 figures, right? Maybe they want to finally reach certain milestones financially. And it's all possible. But again, real estate is the kind of business that you get out of it what you truly put into it, and you have to be hyper aware. And sometimes that means not having balance. And I use the word balance loosely because, again, what are you trying to attain here, right? The standard of a work-life balance is very different when it comes to real estate because it's one and the same. It's you, it's your business. So talk to me about that. Like what does life look like now? And like, why do you think you have to put so much upfront effort for what you want life to eventually be?
Because you gotta look at it however you want to achieve something, right? And you have a time frame for that, and you don't deviate from that time frame, and that's what's gonna basically push you forward.
Yeah.
So if you got a 5-year, a 10-year, well, let's see how we can fast track that. So maybe I have this 5-year, let me see how I can do it in 2.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I have this 10-year, let me see how I can do it in 4. And I think a lot of it's compounding interest. So when you are thinking about if you're just consistently working nonstop every single day, and even if you do that in a year, you are going to do what most people takes them 5 years to do in that 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just compounding interest when it comes to your business.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to be like that. Not everyone wants to do that. That's just how I built myself and just changed that mindset to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's my version of success is I'm going to get to this point and I'm going to be at this, and there's no plan B, plan C. It's just A and go with it.
And I'm so glad to say that I've been witness to it and I will be witness to it. August and September, you closed about 4.7 million in closed volume. We're not even talking about pendings and forecasted. Obviously, we know Nick is forecasted to close about 20 million this year. What do you credit August and September to specifically? Obviously, you were coming off of the peak of summer, right? Where a lot of our businesses, our business comes from, especially being here in Florida, right? We are a seasonal industry. Now, not as much as other states, right? Because we are year round here, but spring into summer is when kids are coming out of school, families are relocating, snowbirds are finally making that big change in their lives. So what was it about August and September specifically?
A part of it was also we were doing that competition. So
Nick is competitive.
Competition's good,
Yeah. What was the competition?
Vegas, all that.
Yeah.
Orlando, Apple Watch.
Correct. Yes. We have, so here at Paramount Home Group, we'll do friendly competitions. We like to incentivize our agents. We don't just, we don't just work to work here. We like to gamify our production here. And so we did a competition where there were different tiers, right? Where everybody can kind of be a winner. I think the top prize was Vegas.
Yep. Vegas, hotel, flight, stay, Zillow, Unlock conference. And then there's our LPT conference, Orlando hotel and stay.
What did you win?
Everything. Some others, clothes, swag, all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Other thing,
That's awesome.
Across the board.
So you credit it to the challenge itself that we did as a team.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'd say that's part of it, and then me just wanting to more.
Yeah.
But in that time frame, I did 12 under contract in 26 days.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome. Now, do you have a specific client success story from this year that really stands out for you? Something that you're really proud of?
I think one that may have stood out, there's a few, but one of them that may have stood out was there was a family that their grandma passed away and mom went through probates. Wasn't a big transaction at all by any means. It was only $153,000, but I stuck with them for 6 months, got them in touch with the right people, the probate attorney, everything like that. House fell out of contract, got it right back under contract with someone else. And it was more about making sure I do the right thing for people and helping people that are in need. And that one was a big resonating factor because there's multiple parties. The family members were across different states.
Yeah.
And just getting it all to the closing table was impactful.
Yeah. And I want to say, just witnessing you navigating that transaction, because I know it very well, you did it with such grace, and something that I admire about you and that I've been able to see is that you really know how to show up for your clients in the way that they need you, right? You don't kind of have a set standard in the way that you show up, and you don't play favorites with your clients, right? You really assess them and you try to fit into their journey, whether they're buying or selling, as the best advisor that you can be. Where do you get that from?
I think a lot of it's from what I've went through in life. So I think that's the biggest thing is, you know, how would I want other people to treat me, whether it's big, small, doesn't matter if it's $1 million or $100,000, $5 million, just making sure that, you know, I'm here to get you from what you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And big or small, I'm gonna take care of you no matter what. And I think that's because I had a lack of that in my life, and I've been burned a bunch of times, you know. So everyone goes through life, and I'm just like, I'm just not gonna do that, and I'm gonna do everything differently to make sure that I'm aligning with people and, you know, helping them get from point A to point B, and, you know, and whatever else they need in the future, you know, because it's not going to just be that. There's always going to be more to come.
And that's absolutely it. That is the key to longevity in this industry. It's not about the transaction itself. It's about the impression you make on your clients. Will they trust you with family and friends? And the time length of the transaction itself is your time frame to really show them just that you are deserving of it. And also, on the other hand of things, the more struggles that you go through, the more that you can relate to people on a deeper level, the better that you can show up for your clients. And that's where, you know, I really like to hone in on that real estate is probably one of the few trades that really challenge your personal development, right? You've got to be okay with the person in the mirror in order to show up for your clients at 110%. The good thing is the bar is low in our industry, right? So there's a lot of people who hold the license, but very few will operate like Nick Kippenberg. So I am so proud of you and happy that you are our first Agent Spotlight for 2 months in a row. And I have a feeling this won't be the last time that we sit down with Nick for Agent Spotlight. So I'm proud of you, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Till next time, who will be our next Agent Spotlight for their production in October? Would it be Nick again? Would it be a new face? Will it be someone in Tampa or in one of our other 5 markets? I look forward to seeing you guys then. Goodbye.